I hope my slide is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why this session is important is like some of you may be new to this research and research community. Some of you maybe have experience in this domain, but let me clarify entire thing first. So initially I have a question. So can anybody comment or can anybody tell me what is research in your point of view?
It's trying to find answers to some unanswered questions or finding out something new.
Yes, that's correct. All right. So research we can split research like identifying something new from existing sources or already available sources. That is what we call research, and that can be done with two steps. First one is just identifying through doing literature survey analysis and all, like with all the existing or previously published research paper. And the second method is prototyping from theoretical paper, prototyping, then doing experiment, validating the data, validating the research, and then identifying something. So we have two methods. So in this research part, so 4 points is very important. So first one I've explained you, conducting research studies in terms of papers, detailed analysis, experimental work. The goal is just to produce, to find out or identify significant results in the field of aerospace, space science, or any domain. That is first point. And the second most important point is identifying reliable sources. So this is very important. Okay, as a new researcher, you may be wondering like what are all contents or what are all sources we need to refer while doing researches. Can anybody tell me like if I do a research just by referring online sources or website sources, will that be valid?
Excuse me, sir. Can you just repeat these questions?
Yeah, so what I was telling is if I'm producing a research paper or if I'm writing a research paper just by referring the data or the contents just from the web resources, websites, blogs.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so will that be valid? Will that report be valid?
Yes, sir. That is one kind of research that we are submitting some review papers on some book chapters on that. That is a
Okay.
one type of research also, sir.
Yeah, so that's a type of research, but that cannot be considered as complete research. It can be considered as a case study.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Then we
Okay.
can put some future scopes on that. That the like those who are read this review paper, then we can work on that.
Okay. So from my experience, from my point of view, if we just refer only web sources and produce a paper, that won't be considered as, yeah, original research or legit sources. So let me explain why this is why. Because web resources are not reliable. It keeps on changing. A best example is Wikipedia. Okay, so for example, if you are studying about a rocket called Falcon 9 through Wikipedia, the information whatever given in the Wikipedia page may change in future. That is not reliable, right?
Sir, but the Wikipedia, those who are giving some sources on that, so we can believe the information is true about the Wikipedia.
Yeah, that we can do. That's
Yes.
good idea actually. Like instead of referring Wikipedia page, we can use the mentioned references in the Wikipedia page. Okay, and one more thing, like there are some blogs and websites that keeps on posting about the updated informations or news on the space related informations. For example, space.com, spacenews.com, and a few magazines. So it's not recommended always to use only web resources for doing your research. So in this part, the how we are going to identify reliable sources is, so we will be referring genuine or original research papers. Okay, that is very important. For example, if you are doing your research as part of your PhD program or any research program, if you spend your time, let's say for 1 year or 1.5 year or 6 months or more than 6 months, so if you refer only web pages, then uh, the journal or the conference, they will accept your paper for initial presentation as well as publication, but for journal they won't accept your paper for inclusion in their journal.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why it's very important. So before doing
Yes, sir.
research, we must know what are our legit sources and what are all sources we must trust and we must refer. So that's the important point, identifying reliable sources. Then the third point is hypothesizing our propositions. So based on your analysis, your study and your reference, so with your intellectual thoughts, you are suggesting something new. So the hypothesizing or defining the exact results. So that is the third point. And the fourth most important point is giving proper references, like providing proper attribution to the referred sources, like providing image, like the courtesies, image courtesy or data courtesy or any sort of informations, and adding it to the reference part. That is very important. So if you miss adding references or providing attribution to certain sources, then you may be like you may have to face copyright issues. I hope I'm clear with this point, citing sources.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what about others?
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yes.
Sir, if means I am writing a research paper,
Okay.
so I just missed one or two reference to put in my research paper
Okay.
while I am sending to a journal to publish this paper. So, sir, is that any problem according to that? Is there any
So
copyright issues on that?
see, the first way is if the journal accepts your paper, the paper will be published. So post publication, if any author, like the copyright owner of a certain data or certain information, if he or she finds or encounters your paper, if he or she reports the same to the journal, stating that the researcher has used some sensitive information or data or equations or any sort of scientific information, so without providing proper attribution or credit, then you may be facing that copyright issues. In that case, the journal will editor will contact you to revise your paper with proper attribution, in so and so paragraph or so and so points or lines. Then you will be refining your content, then they will be republishing it again. So you won't be having any issue unless and until the author identifies the sources.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So these are all four important points. Next, we need so before doing research, we need to understand the essence of research, like the fundamentals of research methodology. So there are two types of research papers, two to three types of research papers we have. So basically, you guys know the definition of research, and then the second point is you must have certain objective before doing some research, like towards the end of this research program or the research work or whatever topic you choose, so what should be the objective of your research, that you must define before doing your research. Okay, let's say I'm doing a comparative study on some launch vehicles or satellites. So towards the end of that research paper, I'll be suggesting some good pointers, so that can be useful for satellite manufacturers or launch vehicle manufacturers to improvise the efficiency, the reliability of both the things. I'm just giving you the example. So that is purpose of research. Then methodological approach utilizes structured methodology to ensure readability. Yeah. So can anybody comment on what is methodological approach? The definition whatever given here. if anybody have any experience.
Sir, in the methodological approach, we can just, while we are writing a research paper, we also done the research about that.
Mhm.
So we just write the method, okay, what kind of method we are just follow them, and then we have to put on that.
Yes, exactly. So usually that point what we call as a research methodology. So the steps involved in your entire research work. For example,
Yes,
if
sir.
you are doing some data or analysis based research, so you may be writing some sort of methods like we have collected all the data from certain databases or certain repositories, then we have filtered out the data, then we have sorted the data, then we executed so and so simulation, then we got the result. So that is your methods. So am I clear with the third point? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay, others.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And next is types of research. So initially we have two types of research. One is qualitative, quantitative, and third one is like mixed methods. So what is qualitative research? In simple terms, it's a descriptive research, theoretical research. So a best example is like a review article. So we have two to three types of review article. One review article just comprises of theoretical information suggesting everything theoretically, and one more review article is there that includes data collection, assessments, and result identification. Okay, so if a paper has only descriptive content or theoretical content, that is qualitative research. If a research paper or a review article comprises of theoretical as well as analytical information like data analysis and all, so that is what we call as quantitative research.
Excuse me, sir. Can you just tell me what is the data analysis on that? Like,
Data analysis on.
means, means in the qualitative research, we just some theoretical approach and
Yeah.
also the data analytics you were just saying on that. So what kind of data analysis on that?
So what kind of data analysis means like we have a number of data analysis work. So initially we have survey related papers, survey based papers, and we have.
Means if we are working on a theoretical paper,
Okay.
means my field is cosmology on that. So
Okay.
cosmology is the fully theoretical physics.
Okay.
So in theoretical physics, what kind of data analytics we should use on that?
Okay. For example, in cosmology or theoretical physics part, like especially we mentioned the astrophysics and astronomy part. Um, do you know NASA's asteroid identification challenge,
Yes,
where they used to provide raw images or raw data to you, then you will be using some sort of
yes, yes, yes,
softwares to identify
yes,
uh, like the objects based on the mass parameter
yes,
and some
yes,
other
yes,
parameters, like to decide whether it's
yes,
a
yes,
planet
sir.
or
For
asteroid.
that we have to do the data analysis.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So for that we have to do the data analysis. But when we are working on a theoretical approach, also this in that we can't do any data analysis on that. I think.
Yeah, so qualitative, no data analysis. If it's quantitative, then definitely we have some data or data analysis part. Okay, so if both the thing qualitative and quantitative we are doing, if we do both the thing qualitative and quantitative, that is what we call as mixed methods. Let me show you some paper, some sample papers. 1 second.
Okay, sir.
I hope you guys can see this paper. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's a comprehensive review on Ceres underground habitation system, so which we have recently submitted for Ascent conference. So if you look at this paper, the paper contains only descriptive information. That's all. Because for
Yes, sir.
Ceres things, we don't have that much data to do or predict or suggest something in terms of environmental condition, temperature, and other things. So that's why it's a complete theoretical work. Okay, so this is example for qualitative work. Then let me give you an example for quantitative work. So in this paper we have proposed that habitation system where we have done some sort of analysis based on temperature, wind, and other parameters, as well as radiation and solar flux. So this is what we call as quantitative research. Okay. So this is example for mixed method. So it's the conceptual design of hybrid steam nuclear interplanetary transit vehicle. So this is just a concept, but still we are doing some analysis in terms of delta velocity, specific impulse, then other parameters including water, oxygen. So it's a mixed method. Cost analysis. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then the last point is impact on society. So what if you do a research and publications? So how it will help you? Can anybody comment? So you have joined this program. So towards the end of this program, you will be completing some report that will be published. So what's the use? I'm waiting for your response. So unless and until you interact and unless until we have mixed discussion, so it won't be that much motivating for me to add additional points out of the contents whatever I have as part of this presentation.
Sir, actually, if I am saying the impact on society on our science paper publishes,
Hmm.
so that can advancing knowledge and innovations, like scientific papers helps here, and your discoveries, method, and technologies are also.
Yes, definitely.
So that
So, mhm.
yes, sir.
See,
So like
one.
example,
Tell me.
if you are taking example like research on COVID-19, so help develop like vaccines faster due to rapid publications and the global collaborations.
Yes, definitely. So,
Yes,
so the research work which you do, which you will be completing, so that's the key or the gateway to your future. Or like it may be career related to a research associates or any research positions
yes,
or
sir.
any type of project related works. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so usually if we do some research that bridges the gap between the previous one and the modern research, so that's one
Yes,
thing. And if you're doing some sort of like conceptual work, theoretical work, or you are proposing something new, then you are like you're seeding the first research source, like the source point for all the upcoming researches. Okay,
yes,
that becomes a reference point. And the third point is through that research work you will be having a wider visibility, and you will be having like n number of opportunity to expand your network nationally as well as
Yes, sir.
internationally.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, I think I should add some points on the impact on society.
Yeah, please.
Like if we are publish some papers to from the recognition in the universities and the research institutions. So by the use of publications record for ranking and fundings also.
Yes, yes,
That
yes.
yes,
Correct.
yes,
Correct. Nowadays, if you take India, like every university and institution
yes, yes.
is ranked through the research outputs.
NAC,
Yeah, the
the
number of
NAC,
papers.
NIRF.
Yeah,
Yes,
the number of papers the university has
yes,
contributed, and
yes,
the
yes,
number of patents they have filed.
yes,
Okay, so these are all important essence of research. So let me move to the next slide. The crucial role of research in progress. So as you guys know, like it advances your knowledge and innovation. It facilitates problem solving. See, if you simply read articles or blog articles, or if you simply watch videos across the YouTube or some other things, then you won't be knowing. So what's the actual challenge, or what's the actual problem which we have to address or which we have to solve? If you step into this research work, if you read multiple papers, you will come to know. So what are all actual challenges we have in this scientific domain which are need to be addressed? Okay, so if you do this research work, then who knows, it may inspire you, or it may stimulate you to do more research works based on that, the first research or first paper as a reference point. So that is what we call facilitates problem solving skills. And then it supports decision making, like based on data driven insights. So the best example I want to give is, so when I read or when I referred papers on spacecraft reliability part, I encountered like most of the authors, they are using certain standards or certain method to identify the reliability of the spacecraft. Then I thought, why not to propose new parameters and introduce the same to reliability terms to identify the reliability of spacecraft. Let's see how it's contributing to spacecraft lifespan. So at that point, I did lots of research, and I did publication as well. So at some point after 2 to 3 sessions, I'll be sharing my papers. You guys can refer if you want, just to understand what kind of initial research we can do, how we can do in terms of conceptual work, review article, or the research one. So you'll come to know the entire thing. And the next thing is, it promotes academic growth. So that you guys know, and enhances professional development, like having global networks. So here I would like to add one more point. So that's my personal experience. So when I was doing my bachelor's program and master's program, so when I wanted to start working on Mars landers and the landing gears, how it works, how to address, so at that point I had a number of questions related to that landers, how to proceed with the research work. When I contacted scientists through emails, when I reached out to scientists and other researchers uh, in India as well as globe, nobody turned out, nobody reverted to my mail. So once I do 2 to 3 publications, when I mailed them, they reverted, they responded.
yes, sir.
So
That
what?
I face also.
Yeah, please. You have the same experience.
Yeah, yes, yes, yes,
Okay, so this is how system works. Like
yes,
people
yes,
won't believe, or people won't trust unless and until you have certain research
yes,
background.
yes, 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 yes. They're
So
absolutely right, sir.
yeah, so that these are all important role of research and the research in progress, and that will help you to enhance yourself in terms of professionalism, networks, and all. So why I'm explaining all this thing is, like, you should have some sort of motive before doing any research. Okay, and I want to add one more point. So we have millions of papers across the globe, okay, across journals and conferences. Can you guys tell me, do every research paper provides answers to all the scientific question we have right now? Like,
No, sir.
no. Okay, why is it so?
So because a research paper is only based upon only one problem, you have two problems.
Okay,
So yes, so how can they answer all these problems for those who are which are going on our minds and all? So to do
okay,
a research, we have to follow 50 to 60 papers on that topic.
okay. Okay, so this is one point, and one more point of mine is usually out of 100, only 40 to 50% of the people do legit research, like genuine research works, and the remaining works just to show the counts of publication. They used to copy it, the existing sources, then they used to replicate the model, they used to replicate the analysis
Yes, sir.
model.
They are just
So
relating business.
yeah, so that's
Yes,
why
sir.
like we have millions of paper in order to like highlight ourselves, highlight our work, or like what to say. In order to shine among all this paper, we have to do some new thing. So
Yes,
that's what I'm trying to say. So there are thousands and millions of unanswered questions. So be the one who identify answers through quality research. Am I clear?
Yes,
yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So types of research, like research type I've already explained, qualitative, quantitative, and mixed methods. So you guys know this. Next, I would like to um, I want to explain like understanding the research process. So before starting a research, we must identify the research problem. So how will you identify research problem? Just share your experience, or just share whatever you have in your mind.
First, by going through other literature and finding unanswered questions or something that needs to be addressed.
Exactly. So the information is given here in the slide, identifying research problem. So conducting a literature review. So if you
Sir, before identify the research problem,
Mhm.
we have to read the papers fast. So can you just mention what are the right strategy to read papers on to understand the paper easily?
Right strategy to read the papers, multiple papers.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So
So how
that
can we relate these papers? What are the strategies like you can follow also?
yeah, yeah, I can tell you that. So
Yes,
we
yes.
have n number of papers, right? So before starting a research, we have to identify certain domain. Let's say I want to work on this propulsion part. So if I want to work on this propulsion part, or any domain, let's say I'm giving you example. So we have thousands of papers. We have to filter out good, impactful, or significant papers first, like the paper which has more number of citations.
Okay.
Yeah. So once we filter out the paper, and so if we read instead of reading 100 papers, if we read good impactful 10 to 20 papers, then we'll come to know like what's the actual research problem.
So how can we understand the paper easily? Like while we are going to the papers,
Okay,
like they
so
have so much complications. There are complex equations are there,
yeah,
and
yeah, I can,
so
yeah,
many unknown pictures on that. So
yeah, I
how
got
can
it.
we easily understand that?
Got it, got it.
Yes, sir.
So before this AI era, like we used to study each and every paper manually. Like today we have a number of tools where just you need to put the entire paper, then it will summarize your entire research work.
So how can we
So
believe that the AI is correct or not?
you can just cross verify, no, like based on the summary, and you can just compare the summary with the abstract of that particular research paper. So before reading the entire paper, you can just read the abstract. So you can just
Okay,
cross.
abstract is the whatever they done on the papers. They have to write on the abstract page.
Okay, so this is the one thing, and for your question, this can be done with the experience of reading multiple papers. So if you read multiple
Yes,
papers,
that's why I just
yeah.
I
So
just
see, if you take research, that's not simple as we think.
yes, sir.
It involves lots of experience.
Yes, sir.
So initially, when I started my research career, like I used to read multiple papers, I used to have lots of questions. I don't understand the technical
Sir,
term.
how can you read all multiple papers like
Multiple
to
means
understand this?
multiple means two or more papers. I'm not telling I
Okay,
have read 100 papers or 200 or 1000 papers.
okay, sir.
Okay, so I used to have lots of doubts in terms of technical terms or technical keywords, whatever they use.
Yes,
I used to underline those things. I used to list out all the things. And I used to like uh, I used to I was trying to understand what does this technical term means. So initially, I invested lots of time in reading papers. So now,
okay,
if I read some paper, then it will be easy for me to grab the concepts or grab the thing what they are trying to say. So it comes only with the experience of reading, spending hours of time. Though we have effective AI tools, but I usually recommend everyone to go for manual reading, manual referencing.
yes, sir.
So that will help you to enhance yourself in this domain.
So that I am just asking you, ki what are the strategies we can follow to read to read these papers? Like first, we have to read the abstract, then instead of directly go to the introduction, what should I do?
No, without reading, then see, did you got my point? Like you have to filter out the paper.
Yeah, okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Next thing is abstract part. Some abstract explains the entire thing technically.
Okay, sir. So to understand the abstracts, what should I do? What should we do?
I didn't get your question. Like if we read, then we can understand, right? So
So,
can you
so just show
elaborate?
me a paper. Just, right now, just show me a paper.
Okay. So
Any paper, sir.
let me show you my paper itself.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is the paper.
So forget you are on this paper. Like forget this is not a paper. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if I read the abstract part, this paper presents a comprehensive analysis to advance propulsion of architecture for long duration interplanetary space missions. These are the some bombastic word on that. So
Mm-hmm.
if I am new on that, how can I understand the abstract here? If I understand the abstract, I know that if I understand the abstract, then I can understand your paper. So
Mm-hmm.
what are the methods which I can follow to understand the abstract?
If you are a fresher,
Yes, sir.
so can you tell me like
Sir, if I, no, sir, if I am not fresher, like if you are doing a research on a new field, like I am on a cosmology field. Right now, I'm just trying to do on the aerospace. Like in which field you are just researching right now. So if I should follow your papers,
okay.
if I if I'm just following your abstract, so how can I just understand your abstract? To underline this things and doing study on that or what?
Okay, so you are from cosmology background, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay, so just read this abstract and tell me what you are getting. So you initially I don't have any strategy to read and understand the abstract part because it's very simple term. But if you don't know the technical terms, let's say
Yes,
advanced propulsion architecture, what is
yes,
interplanetary, and what is Titan and Europa and Ceres, then
yes.
you need to do some basic or fundamental studies to understand what the concept is.
Okay.
So what's the domain you have chosen?
In this topic, like in
Mm-hmm.
which you are just given.
Hmm.
The role of neutrinos on cosmic revolution.
Roll off?
Yeah, neutrino.
Okay, okay.
That is based upon my field, I think.
All right. So,
I just read a lot of neutrino, so that's why I just chose this topic.
all right. So we'll discuss while having one-on-one session. So these training are of very basic things. Like it's
Yes,
neither
yes.
basic or neither advanced. It's very moderate. So which is essential for everyone, whoever new to this research
Yes,
field.
so while I just study the research methodology,
Mm-hmm.
in that we just go through some papers.
Mm-hmm.
So so the main strategy was ki first of all you have to understand the abstract, then direct go to the conclusion part. So if you are able to understand the abstract and conclusion part, a brief overview of this paper you just can imagine on that basis. Then you just go to the introduction part. Then what are the methodology they are following on that? Then the paper will be easily solved.
Okay, that's
Yes,
good. Thanks for
yes,
your
sir.
suggestion. Actually, yeah,
Yes, sir. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm just asking not because of like I'm showing. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
asking because a lot of students are there, those who are new in this field. Then they're not known what is the research methodology on that. So that's why I'm just asking these questions. Like what are the strategies you can follow on to read the papers?
All right, all right. So usually, I don't have any strategy. I used to refer that abstract part. If I get some satisfactory information from the abstract, then I used to read the entire paper, or else I just ignore the same. Ignore the same. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. And what are all effective strategies for identifying research problems? So, observing knowledge gap between the previous research and the existing research, and then reviewing current challenges and exploring new developments. So you need to be up to date or updated yourself with every information provided by space agencies and other space institutions. Let's say the best example is rotating detonation engine. So anybody following NASA's and European Space Agency or ISRO's official web pages, like once in a week or twice a week?
No, sir.
Okay, what about others?
No, sir.
Okay, so NASA usually they used to update their site with all the recent innovation and discoveries from their existing missions, and they used to update their web page with upcoming missions and developments. So that rotating detonation engine, which like the point which I mentioned, if you study about that particular propulsion engine, some 20 to 30 years back, NASA just proposed these concepts and they stopped working on the same. Now they again started to work on the same concepts. So once you explore new developments across multiple sources, multiple legit sources or official sources, you'll come to know like what are all new technologies are there, and what are all technologies these types of institution or organizations are working, and where we have to work. So let's say, let me give you an example. So right now, all the space agencies, they are focusing on nuclear propulsion for interplanetary travel or any space missions. So what are all challenges associated with this nuclear propulsion? Can anybody comment?
I think the general one would just be nuclear waste generated, and like the research and development phase would take a lot of nuclear like materials.
Okay. So which one is controllable? Nuclear fission or nuclear fusion?
So far, I
Nuclear
think
fission.
nuclear fission is controllable, and nuclear fusion is not yet achieved.
Yeah, that's correct. Nuclear fission is controllable. So let's say some nuclear fission based plants. So we are having atomic power stations, right? So we are having large structure to control the fission part, like the control rods and all. So how we will control the same in space if we are adding this kind of systems to spaceships?
Uh, I'm sorry, sir. I can just repeat this question.
So what I'm trying to say is, if you look at the ground thing, so in on our Earth we have nuclear power stations. So if we are like how we are controlling nuclear fission here, you would have
Right
read
now,
some. Sorry.
control rods. Right now, we're using control rods to maintain nuclear fission, but in space that might be kind of difficult to achieve. But you can control it during takeoff, I believe.
Okay. So yeah, so in the power station we have control rods and other things to control the nuclear fission part. So the control system itself requires larger area, right? So how we are going to control the same nuclear fission if we are incorporating to a spaceship or any space vehicle? Can you imagine, is it possible to control?
I think no, sir.
Yeah, that's difficult. So this is the demanding area, so we need to work on. So how we can control, how we can initiate the fission, how we can control the fission. So that's the demanding area we need to work on. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, once you explore a new technology or the TRL level of each and every technology, you'll come to know these are all actual areas, and these are all the areas where we have real problems we need to address. So in that way you will be identifying a number of research problems. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
And then engage with practitioners or the professionals or researchers. So this can be done if you attend conferences and workshops. So just communicating over emails won't work. If you attend offline conference or conference seminars or workshop, so you will be having lots of opportunity to interact with researchers, professionals, even scientists directly. So based on your level of discussion, you may get opportunity to collaborate with them. Okay, so that's one point. Then analyzing literature reviews, then using surveys and polls. So usually these types of research especially conducted in the domains like um, let me give you an example. Do you have any example on this research related to surveys and polls, especially in terms of space and aerospace?
I think this is some economical topic. Utilize surveys and polls. So in economics, we are just doing the survey and polls and publish the papers.
Mm-hmm.
So in
Survey.
astrophysics or aerospace, I think it's too difficult to get the data from the target population.
Yeah, so usually what a researcher used to do is they used to compile or they used to frame so the number of questions, some 10 to 20 through forms or through other
Yes,
sources. They used to send those forms to peoples
yes, yes,
like everyone. So based on everyone's answer, everyone's suggestion,
yes.
they used to do basic analysis. They used to suggest, and that is what we call as surveys and polls. Okay, and then these 2 points you guys know, attending conference and workshops. And then So
This
monitoring.
utilization and service, I think that we can do in Germany in aerospace, astrophysics topic.
Mhm.
Because in Germany, this is so competitive market on the
Okay.
astrophysics aerospace department. So we
Um,
can utilize surveys and polls on that country. But in India, that's impossible.
yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So this is just a method. I'm not saying like
Yes, sir. Yes,
this
sir.
method.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is just a
And
method I just.
yeah, and then monitoring policy changes. So especially in terms of space exploration, we have certain limitations, regulations we need to follow on. It's not like we can go everywhere, we can do research everywhere. So if you want to export, or if you want to take, yeah, a single gram of uranium or any sort of nuclear thing from ground to low earth orbit, you need to clear lots of regulations and filings, because that is very dangerous, right? So if the rocket fails, or if any rocket, if the rocket explodes, then that nuclear thing will contaminate the entire environment, right? So you need to keep yourself updated about the policy changes. And if you talk about Indian space policy, recently they drafted during 2022. So that involves lots of informations, from privatizing technology to all the challenges and regulations. You can just look it out. And the last point is very important: reflect on personal experience. So once you do research, once you publish multiple papers, once you attend conferences and workshop, so you will get your personal experience, like, to identify more potential needs or potential research needs. So these are all effective strategies for identifying research problems. Some points may help you out, some points may not, but these are all basic things. I hope I'm clear.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, exploring diverse research methodologies: experimental research, descriptive research, correlational research, and survey research. So I hope you guys know about this. Experimental research is nothing but based on the theoretical paper or the theoretical concepts. We employ systems, tools to design the prototype, then do experiment and identify results. So that is experimental work. Descriptive research, that simply involves observational studies, case reports, like the report which I've shown you, comprehensive review on Ceres underground habitation systems, just the theoretical work. And correlational research, so analyzes the connection between different variables to identify patterns. So anybody have any points or any examples to comment on this correlational research? Because I want to, like, you guys just comment on this, then post that I will comment one of my experience.
Mm, yes, sir. So in case of astronomy research, we just follow the correlational research on that because in astronomy papers, I read some papers on astronomy. On that paper, we can just connect, we can just build a connections to one paper to another paper to find some problems to solve these problems also.
Okay.
Yes. I think that is the correlational, that is the example of correlational research.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes.
Okay, so let me give you one more example in our domain, like especially based on my experience. So when I was doing research on this reliability study, I encountered that that the estimation method, Kaplan-Meier estimation, and variable probability distribution. So those methods were used to identify the lifespan of deceased patients in the hospitals. Okay, so if you want, you can just note it down. The method is Kaplan-Meier estimation, and variable probability distribution. So those methods were initially used to project the lifespan of deceased patients. Then two scientists they just modified the same equation, and they used the same equation to identify lifespan of the spacecraft. Like they are just trying to identify the patterns. So the lifespan of patients, the lifespan of spacecraft. Are you guys getting my point? What I'm trying to say?
Uh, no, no, sir. Can you just repeat?
Okay. So just note this point. Kaplan Mayer estimation. Let me check whether I have any paper with me right now. So this is some sort of graph which describes the lifespan of anything. It may be some object or patients. So initially these types of analysis were used to do to estimate the lifespan of deceased patients. Okay, you can just check it out later. So later two or three scientists they came up with new idea to modify the same equation to predict the lifespan of any subsystems. It may be a component or it may be a satellite. So based on the lifespan data itself. So this is what I call correlational research. So just identifying the patterns, modifying, doing analysis, producing some new results. Sakshi, you have some experience, right? Can you comment?
Yes, so basically, what research that I've done till now, it's based on validating the experimental results and conducting numerical analysis or some sort of research based on that. But I don't understand which category it would lie under among the four that you are showing here.
So
So I don't believe it's a correlation research, neither is it an experimental. So which would it fall under?
so it falls under like experimental research as well as analytical research. Like there is no specific point I want to mention, so just I'm giving you the example. So once you read some papers, then you will come to know like what is correlational research, because it's very difficult for me to summarize the point.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so next the last point is survey based research. So that is what I mentioned is surveys and polls. So that is not required for us right now. So we'll go with the 3 points first. Now let me add few pointers on ethical considerations in research. Informed consent, plagiarism and academic integrity, data, privacy and confidentiality. So anybody want to comment on this? So we will be following the second point only. The first
Yes,
and
sir.
last point is especially for survey based research.
Yes.
So let me explain you the second one. So whatever research you do, you have to ensure that you provide proper attribution or proper credit to all the sources and all researchers wherever you refer. So that is important point. Next thing is you have to ensure you should not plagiarize other works. So nowadays, I got few interns, like as part of their academic curriculum. So there are certain requirements. They have to do some publications, one or two. So what they did is they just referred an existing or published paper. They just paraphrased and copied it at the same thing, the exact the duplication of the same work. Then they published through some journals. I don't think that that may be a legit journal. So that is uh, what we call as plagiarizing the work. So you should
So
not
the
do.
journals have types now Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4.
Yeah, that is in
So
terms of
yes,
Scopus work,
yes.
Scopus journals. We have Scopus
These
Web of Science, DOAJ type of journals, and we have some yearly like new journals. And the most important thing to avoid is fake journals and predatory journals. So
there's a
I'll
paid
get
journals also.
yeah, so I'll be talking about in upcoming sessions. So the second point is very important: avoiding plagiarism, providing proper credit or attribution to all the sources. So the first and third point goes to like is applicable for survey based research. Like before getting feedback or data from any person, so we need to get consent from them. And while
Sir,
get
data privacy and confidentiality is, I think, this should follow all the papers, all the researchers.
like some researchers, for example, if I do some experiment, if I extract some 100 or 2000 data samples, if I want this data to be used by everyone to do their research, then definitely I'll be depositing those data to some data repository. But some researchers, they don't want to disclose the entire data. In that case, they just share that particular data with the reviewers, and they don't add as part of their research work. So because they would have that may be a funded research, so that's why they don't want to disclose the entire data with everyone.
So if you are collecting data from conferences, means I'm telling about theoretical approach. So if you are working on theoretical physics, your laser plasma, your cosmology, that. So you have to attend one to two conference, yeah, workshops. So from them you have to collect some data on that. So if you publish the data, so there can like
So in this case, what you have to do is, if you are collecting data through conversations or through peoples, then you have to disclose everything in the acknowledgement sections.
yes,
Okay, or else you can get some sort of clearance through emailing them.
yes, sir.
Okay, so that you can do. If you have clearance with you, just mention everyone in the acknowledgement part, then publish it. In that case, you won't be having any problems.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and next thing is referencing systems. So the citation thing which we will be using. So there are n number of citation styles from APA to AMA. So we will be using APA format only, American Psychological Association. So other formats are intended for different types of journals and conferences. For example, if you want to publish your paper with IEEE conference or IEEE related journals, then you have to follow that IEEE citation style. Okay, and so most of the
Sir,
journal, yes,
APA referencing is available on LaTeX
I'm sorry,
or not? This APA references that is available on LaTeX or not?
yes, it's available.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, so I want to talk especially about APA style, American Psychological Association. Let me give you example. So this is the standard citation format. Okay, so it typically includes author's last name followed by first name, then publication year in brackets, then title of the paper, followed by name of the journal or name of the conference, then followed by volume number, issue number, and page numbers. And optionally, if you want to add DOI, you are more than welcome to add. Let me show you an example. So you can see this Smith John 2020 Understanding Citation Formats, Journal of Academic Writing. 10 is volume number 10, 2 is issue number 2, PP is nothing but paper pages from 45 to 50. Okay, and so we can mention or we can represent the same APA format in different form, like author's first name, comma, the year of publication. If we have more than one author or more than two author, then we can use this format: first name of the author, first author, then ATAL dot 1994, the year of publications. So you can use these formats in your report and your paper while writing. So that's why I'm giving you example. And DOI usage, this is optional part if you want to add. One second. Let's consider this is our reference. So towards the end of this reference, you can add DOI in this format, like the entire link. Okay, let me show you. Here I don't have DOI to mention, but so this is this is a standard APA format. You can see. So author's last name, then first name, comma, uh, name of the other authors, the year of publication in bracket, the title of the work in italic form, then the source, the name of the source. Okay, and if you are referring some online sources like websites and all, then you have to mention the same. If you have author, then mention the author's name. Yes, please.
So I just had a question. In the second reference, you have mentioned all three authors' name, but in the first one, you have written ETAL. Why is there a difference?
So this is not manually written. Initially, I use Google Scholar for creating the reference page. If I enter the title of this paper, let's say, so whatever comes, I used to just copy paste the same. Okay, here the format actually changed. I used MLA instead of APA. You can see that.
Yes, sir.
So,
When
sometimes
you say
let's say if you want to submit your initial papers to Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, let me show you. So this is just an abstract part, like short abstract. If you want to submit your paper to Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, so in this case you are allowed to write your papers within 2 page. In that case, you won't be having sufficient space to add your references. In that case, I'm just shrinking all the references. You can see here. So just the author's name, the year of publication, title of the work, that's all. So initially, like reference shrinking is not recommended. So it's always recommended to add the entire informations along with DOI, digital object identifier. Okay, and if you are referring some web sources, you have to mention when you accessed those information from that particular site. You have to mention the dates as well. Because as I mentioned, web resources are not reliable, it may change. Okay, if you mention the date, then it will be easy for reviewers to get the exact information from the link using web archives. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So what
Sir,
we
you
yes.
write paper on words or latex?
No, I don't invest. See, I want to make everything simple, so I don't invest time in latex in writing papers.
Okay.
I usually use Word to compile papers.
Word.
That's all. Yes.
So you think that there's so much time taking latex is so much time taking?
So if I'm a fresher, then definitely yes. But if I'm an expert, then it just a little time consuming. That's all.
Okay,
If if anything goes wrong, then you have to check once again from.
okay, sir.
Yeah. And importance of copyright. So that I've already explained you. Like if you use certain information or sensitive information without any proper credit or attribution, so that may lead to your paper retraction or copyright notices from journals or conferences. So you have to ensure that whatever information you use or refer, provide proper attribution or proper credits. Okay, now the point is I've already mentioned what is reliable sources. Now my question is how to identify reliable sources. So here I've given some 2 to 3 points. Can anybody explain, like anybody add comments on how to identify reliable sources where we can search, where we can refer?
Sir, I follow the Google Scaler and the archive data.
Google Scholar and okay.
Archive.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Science Direct, I feel that's quite reliable.
Yes, Science Direct. That's an initiative by LCBR. So you will find papers published by LCBR only, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so usually I recommend everyone to go for Google Scholar, um, because Google
Sir,
Scholar.
archive also which paper you are just publishing in 24 hour that we publish in archive.com.
I'm sorry.
Any paper, sir. Sir, any paper which we are publishing
Hmm.
that is published on archive.com in 24 hours. I think that must be some easier way to find papers so quickly.
Okay, so you're talking about Google Scholar.
No, I'm talking about archive.
Okay, Adai. Okay,
ARXIV.
okay, archive.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that we can use, like uh, archive that provides only preprints, right?
No, sir, PDFs also. Those months,
I'm talking about preprints. Sometimes it provides post prints, like the peer reviewed one. Yeah, definitely. This is the best one. Like Google Scholar, you can use because it uses its algorithm to scan and index scholarly sources. Okay, and it provides a simplified uh, interface to cite resources. So here, if we click this site
yes,
one, then
yes,
we have a number
yes,
of citation format which we can directly copy paste to create our
yes,
reference page. And we have more options as well. If you are looking for just review articles, you can click this one. And if you want to read only updated papers, like the recent one, then you can customize your search. Papers published between 2023 and 2024. So, so this is the thing which I usually suggest to everyone to go for. Then keywords for searching papers. So this is my suggestions. For example, if you want to stick with a good number of papers and if you want to look for impactful papers, then use certain keywords in searching papers. Like if you use random keywords to search for papers, then it will consume your time. Right. For example, if you want to get papers on propulsion system, just use the propulsion system, technical overview of so and so engine, or technical overview of Falcon 9, and if you want to go for landers, then you can use Mars landers, technical overview or specifications. So if you use keywords like this, then you will get your desired results. So that is what I used to suggest everyone. Okay, and here I have few questions which you guys can ask, but before explaining all these things, I want answers from everyone if you have any. So my first question is, why web resources are not reliable? So about that we have already discussed. Like, I would appreciate if anybody comes forward and explain the same.
So because the source are not mentioned on
I'm sorry.
the sources are not mentioned on the websites, website resources.
Okay, okay,
If the source are mentioned, then it will most reliable. If the source is not mentioned, then
okay. All right.
Can you also say that there's no validity for their information? Like they can state anything, but it's never been reviewed by professionals or it's never been verified by like industry experts.
All right. So, can you come again? I think you have some background noise.
Um, the sources have no validity, like it's never been checked over by professionals or industry experts.
Yes,
And
exactly.
the data, it's like I can go on the internet and say something right now, and it would have no validity if I have no like official knowledge.
All right, fine. So, my next question is, I've suggested you guys to use Google Scholar for identifying sources. So, I'm offending that point. Like, why some resources from Google Scholar are not reliable? Anybody wants to comment?
Based on my personal experience, some of the papers that Google Scholar suggests come from low quality journals or they are not reputed and not recognized.
Yes, that's correct. So that's the disadvantages associated with Google Scholar. Let me show you some real example. So I encountered my first predatory journal. So it's ijcrd.org, International Journal of Creative Research Thoughts. You will find every information there. They are indexed in everywhere, and they can do publication within 1 day. A review results 2 to 3 days, paper publication 2 to 3 days, and they are charging a very nominal fee. It's just 1,500 per paper. So when I referred this journal to my supervisor and guide, like when I was doing my bachelor's program, he simply added, it's a fake journal, don't go for it. Then one day I came to know, like, there are like thousands of fake journals circulating over the net for predatory publications. So if you type the name of the journal, let's say in Google Scholar, so you will get results. Actually, you will get papers from these sites. So these papers are not indexed from this website directly, but through multiple sources, researchgate.net, then academia.edu. You can see the information here, role of enzymes in seed germinations. So the paper is cited by 75 peoples. The publisher is International Journal of Creative Research Thoughts. So these kind of journals are degrading the scientific integrity. Okay, so before citing any sources, ensure to cross check all the informations before citing or referring or adding to your reference pages. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the publisher of that particular journal is IJPub, International Journals and Publications. So they are actively operating some 6 to 8 journals. So they used to represent themselves as UGC approved journals. So that's why even PhD scholars and professors are doing publication with them. You can just check out their papers list. So they are publishing almost around 200 to 300 papers every month. I don't know how people are doing publication with them. All right.
So then how can we recognize if it's genuine publication or if it's fake?
Sometimes the publication may be genuine. Like you can see the number of citations here is high. Okay, if you click this one cited by 75, then you can see that the sources, the published sources are from MDPI and then Science Direct Elsevier. Sometimes the paper may be genuine, but the type of publication is fake. Like there is no peer review process involved. Let's say if you want to prove 4 plus 4 is equal to 5 through some mathematical formulation and all, if you submit to this journal, then they will publish within a day without any review or any comment. Some paper may be genuine, but some papers we should not trust. So that's why it's very important to cross check every informations in terms of journal, in terms of content, in terms of citations. So
Okay.
this experience you will get if and only if you refer multiple papers. Okay, so we have separate sessions. At that session, I will tell you how to identify predatory journals, predatory publishers, predatory conferences. So everything I will tell you. Okay, and my next question is, okay, similar to Google Scholar, we have a number of search engines like Semantic Scholar and core repository. So in the same way how we are having disadvantage with Google Scholar, in the same way we have advantage with other search engine as well. Let me show you. So we will get same results. So that's why you need to check, you need to do all the background verification before referring or citing. And the next question is, what's the best way to look for genuine papers? So I recommend everyone to go for publication page, check for journal information, how legit they are, then go for reading and referring. So that's my suggestion. And the last question is, what kind of papers are preferable to read? So that I've already added, papers which has more number of citations. Am I clear with these questions?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So just ping me out if you have any questions, if you want to discuss anything apart from whatever content we have. And the next point is how to download and get access to papers. So I may be mentioning some unethical thing, but this is the way which we can follow to access papers, or else we have to incur huge cost to download and get access to papers. So, some of you may have experience in getting access or downloading papers. Anybody want to comment?
So what kind of comments are you expecting?
No, I'm just asking like how will you download papers? How can you access a paper?
Just
Because
just click on
there are some open access journal which provides papers for free. There are some subscription based
yes,
journals which ask you some cost to pay.
Yes, sir.
to download papers. So how will you download those papers?
No, sir. Don't have experience on that.
You don't have experience, okay. So
No, sir.
So
usually,
Just
yeah.
tell me.
Okay, so let me tell you. So usually there is one repository called SciHub, and we have Library Genesis, LibGen, and Paywall. So these are all platforms which we can use to download and get access to papers. Let me show you. So through this repository, it's very difficult to get recent papers. Like for example, the papers published in 2024 and 2025, but before 2024, there are high chances we may get papers through these repositories. Let me show you. So this is journal published by Elsevier.
So can I access the Albert Einstein's paper,
Yes,
the
yes,
theory of relativity?
yes. So now I want to go for a 2022 and volume number 135. So you can see this paper is not open access. Let me check whether I have the same paper in this repository or not. So I hope you guys know what is DOI. How many of you know what is DOI?
Digital,
Digital
I
Object
just forgot.
Identifier.
Yes, yes, yes.
So a digital object identifier, it's a unique ID or unique number that is allocated to all the academic sources published over the net. It may be a preprint repository, data repository, journals, anything. So that is important one. For example, if you want to access this paper, here we have DOI here. Just copy the link or the entire DOI and paste it here. So if you click this open, you can see that the repository doesn't have this paper. Let me check with some older issues. Let me go for 2020. See, I'm getting the paper. Okay, if I want to get access through the journal page itself, then I have to purchase or I have to get subscription. You can see the cost. For personal use, you have to pay 24.95 USD. So like that, how many paper you can afford? So that's why I usually recommend SciHub, and we have LibGen. We have core repository. So these are all platforms which you can use to get free access to a certain number of papers. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sometimes some papers provide free access, like open access. Let me give you an example. Mm, so this is Aerospace journal published by FDPI. So through this journal you can access all the papers for free without any subscription because all articles are open access. Okay, so this is how you can get access to all the papers whatever you want. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we have that archive repository as well. So now archive is supporting papers from diverse domain, like,
That's what I am doing.
I'm sorry. So you will get most of the papers here from astrophysics, astronomy, maths, computer science, everything here. Just you have to type the name of the paper, or if you want to look for specific domain related papers, let's say space science. So you have direct PDF link. See, here also I want to add some information. Some researchers, they want their research to be read by everyone. So therefore, they used to deposit their paper across multiple platforms, open access platforms. Some researchers, they don't want to disclose the entire their hard worked research. Henceforth, they used to publish their papers through subscription based journals. If I want my citation to get increased, or if I want my research to be reached across the globe, then definitely I'll go for open access publications. It may be a preprint or journal. Okay, so there are like a number of factors that defines this open access publications or open access knowledge. So initially you can go for these platforms to get access to papers. Okay, so let me go for the next things. So keyword that I've already explained. So use certain keywords or scientific key terms in searching or exploring papers, rather than using random searches. And then a tool for searching relevant papers. Let's say I've read only one paper related to propulsion part. Now, sometimes it may be a difficult for new researchers, like, to get more relevant papers related to the same. In that case, I recommend this one, connected papers. Or else you can go for manual search. Like how you can do is, if you look at the reference part, let's say this one, if you want to read more relevant papers related to this one, you can go to the reference sections. So through the reference section, you can download and refer multiple papers related to this domain. And I've mentioned this connected paper, right? So once you enter this site, just you have to copy paste the title of the work. Now you have to click build a graph. Okay, let me try with another paper. Okay, so here we are getting the result. If you click on this, then it will build a graph like this. So if you point your cursor to any dots, so you can see all the reference, like interrelated references connected to each and every sources. So if you point your cursor, you can see the title along with the name of the author, citations, abstract at the right column. I hope you guys can see this.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you can use this tool. So another similar tool is there. So research rabbit. So this is not free. You need to create your own account to access this platform. So it's very similar. You can see the image here. Okay, so this tool you can use for identifying or searching relevant papers. Now we are done for the day. Now I would like to show a few statistics or graph in front of you. And just I would appreciate any comments on this. So I would like to go for this part, paper mills. So the image shows the list of authors who have published almost around 261 papers per year. So what's your comment?
So they are just relate and publish.
Okay, what about others?
Otherwise, they have a lot of students, and they are just tell them to put my name on
Yes,
that.
yes. So if I'm a research supervisor, if I'm supervising some 30 to
Yes,
40
yes,
students,
yes,
so
yes,
through them I can do multiple publication. So
yes, yes,
if I have a friend, another supervisor, if he or she has some 30 to 40 students, then definitely I will tell him to add my name as part of their research work. So
yes,
and so this is one way, and the second way is just to show the counts, the number of publications. So we can manipulate, we can inflate the data, we can publish it, we can bypass all the screening process.
yes, to
So
improve
that
our
is,
API scores.
yeah, that is what we call as violation of publication ethics. That may lead to retraction of papers from all the databases.
Sir, many supervisors are like they are just put some foreign researcher's name
Hmm.
to like to prevent the rejection from the journals.
Yeah, like they used to mention author's
Some
name
reputed names also. Yes,
who really don't exist,
yes,
and
yes, yes. No, sir,
and
those who are reputed also.
yeah, like sometimes we used to receive some papers where they used to add their supervisor name, but as part of supervisor email, they used to give their own email or any secondary
Yes,
emails.
yes, yes, yes.
So, so these are all called like violation of publication ethics. So once the journal or any publisher encounter this, then definitely your paper will go for retraction. So, and the next thing is copy editing. Just copy editing the existing papers and doing publications through multiple platforms. So, the result of which we can have the numbers like this. So, why I'm showing is if you focus on quality publication, definitely you'll be having good impact in terms of citation, visibility, and like importance, research importance. Okay, next I would like to go with this graph. So this is especially aerospace and space related publications. So the color shows, the dark color shows journal publication and the light color shows conference publications. And the next smallest graph shows the preprint publications. Okay, so these data are taken from sources like AIAA, IEEE and Springer and Nature. So anybody wants to comment?
Most of the papers are from Springer publications to journal.
Okay, you can see actually we are having what to say thousands of papers through conferences, but in terms of paper conversion from conference to journal, the rate is low because conference papers are not fully peer reviewed. It's 20 to 30% reviewed or even less. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is the competition is high. Everyone is running behind publications. The number matters. So what I'm trying to say is, so focus on quality research. Try to split your papers into 2 to 3 or 4 form instead of compiling each and every points in a single research paper. Let's say initially you can go for concept based publications, then you can go for analysis based publications, then you can produce original research work, then you can write a review article based on all these three papers. So what I'm trying to just say is, instead of compiling everything in a single paper, just split your paper. In that way you can increase your publication counts. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
So I'll explain in brief in the upcoming sessions. No need to worry. So yeah, and this is paper retraction stat. The image source is from nature. So what's your opinion on this?
The Saudi Arabia has a big number of researchers.
Yes. So
Yes.
so my objective is, if you focus on quality and genuine research work, then you won't end up with this kind of retraction. You can see the number of retractions per 10,000 papers. Saudi Arabia it's 30 out of 10,000, and if you take India it's 15.2 out of 10,000 papers. So if you go behind quality, then there is no retraction. If you go behind quantity and if you do lots of publication, then retraction may be the result. I'm not saying retraction will happen, it may be the result. Okay, so just focus on quality research work, and you can see this state-wise statistics retractions, especially in India. So Tamil Nadu stands first, followed by Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, New Delhi, West Bengal, Punjab, Karnataka, Telangana. So just I want to show the reality of this research community, what exactly happening here. I'll share few images from Scopus Q1 and Q2 journals where readers have identified AI based content in the published research. You can just have a look at it. Yeah, so that's all for the day. Any questions or any comments, any suggestions to improvise this kind of knowledge sessions?